Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor, aka Silver Fox, and here on this channel I talk about classic literature, films, pop culture, and whatever I feel like talking about. And today I want to talk about how to educate yourself and cultivate your literacy skills. I got a lot of comments since my video about the decline in literacy and the rise of AI blew up. I've gotten a lot of comments talking about how they were also unschooled or didn't get a proper education, or how they know a lot of people who are illiterate and struggling. And in my video where I shared some of my favorite poetry collections, I got some comments asking how to understand poetry, where to start with it all. And so I thought I'd talk about all of that today. As someone who was homeschooled and wasn't exactly given the best education in this circumstance, pretty much every single thing I know is something I taught myself, probably in my adult life. I was pretty much on my own in terms of education, and once I graduated high school, I realized I was missing out on a lot of it, and I made a lot of efforts to try to fill in that gap. And if you're like me, or whatever your circumstance may be, maybe you're realizing there's also a gap in my education. There are things that I don't understand that I want to know. Where do I start with that? I am not here to judge anyone for having gaps in their education or literacy. I know some people thought I was doing that in my last video about AI. I'm absolutely not. I was trying to raise awareness, but I do not judge anyone for lacking literacy skills. It doesn't make you stupid, and I don't judge you for that. I myself also lacked literacy skills for a long time, and I'm still to this day growing in that and learning more about it. And I'm not here to judge anyone. I mean, I was freaking homeschooled. Who am I to judge people for their education? And so if you're here and you want to know more, and maybe you're looking for that first step, well, congratulations. The first step is wanting to know more, so you're already off to a pretty good start. Sorry for that long intro. Let's get right into it. I'm just here to help you navigate using some of these tips that I've learned over the years. The most obvious and basic question here is how to cultivate your literacy skills. Because literacy isn't just about being able to read, it's also about being able to understand the full depth of what you're reading and to understand the subtext and metaphors and allegories. But how do you even do that if you don't even know what an allegory is, because you've never been taught it? The first step is obviously to actually learn to physically read the words and put them together and make sounds. One reason why the literacy rate has been lowering in our school system is because they stopped using a phonics-based system for a long time, and they used I don't remember what the other one they used is, but I'm going to put up there. They switched to that for a while, and it really just didn't work. It wasn't scientifically based. It was really rooted in the fact that people began to view being able to read as inherent, like speaking and breathing. But that's just not true. Like, the written language is invented. Like, it doesn't come natural to you to know how to read. It's something you have to learn and be taught. Schools are beginning to switch back to a phonics-based system, so I really do hope that in the future, literacy will rise just on the basis that we are now going back to the tried and true tested method of teaching people to read. But the next step beyond reading is understanding what you are reading. Step one for that, pick up a book. Allow yourself to not understand it, to not understand the subtext, to not understand anything beyond surface level. Allow yourself, do not stop just because you're having trouble understanding it. Keep going. And when you are done, look up reviews about that book. You can look them up on Goodreads, Storygraph. I personally love watching reviews on YouTube because I just find that fun. I will literally sit. I recently watched a 7-hour review of a book I had never even read because I quite enjoy listening to people talking about books and sharing their experiences and what they gleaned from it. That's the way that I began to cultivate my literacy skills, is because I would read reviews and understand, like, oh, I completely missed that this part of the book was a metaphor for that the whole book was supposed to mean XYZ. I missed that. And when you read those reviews and you learn what it is you're missing, you know what to look for in the next book. It opens your mind to the things that you're missing and allows you to grow. So read reviews. Also, maybe talk about the book with someone else you know. Maybe start your own book club where you and one or two people all read the same book and then talk about it and talk about what you learned from it. But just discussing the book, reading reviews, reading other people's analysis of the text will help you understand. Because that's how you learn in school. The teacher explains the text to you, they analyze it, they explain to you how to analyze it. You could also literally probably just type in the search bar up here, how to analyze a text, how to analyze literature, and you could probably get a ton of videos. I cannot stress how many free online resources there are out there of people who just love to talk your head off about this stuff, so they will do it for free. There are free online classes, there are so many YouTube video courses and all that stuff. please take advantage of the plethora of free online resources that exist out there for learning new things. I also want to elaborate, it is so important to take notes, to write down the things you understand, the things you don't understand. Don't be afraid to annotate your books or just have a separate notebook on hand where you write down the things you are reading that you can look back over when you're done. Maybe even go through a second read and maybe see, okay, how is my understanding of this different from the first time I read it? Or you can just use those notes. One, just writing information down from a book will help you remember it better. Like, that's one of the major points of note taking. Like, you will have better memory retention just by writing down some notes. You can also go over these notes again if you have another person that you can read this book with or talk to about the books you're reading. This would be a great thing. You can go over your notes with them and say, oh, I wrote this down about this section, I had XYZ to say about this, and see how it compares to their notes, or just see what they have to say about your notes. I remember a few years ago when I ventured into Shakespeare, I was really nervous about it. I was very intimidated, but I was determined to read it and learn how to understand it. My entire family has basically written off Shakespeare. They've never read his works. They think he's overrated, which is contradictory. How can you know he's overrated if you never rated him? But they really have no desire whatsoever to get into that. And when I told them that I was getting into Shakespeare, their response was basically, oh my gosh, I could never. And I read out a few lines of his work to them, and they were all like, yeah, don't understand that, don't really care to. And considering those were my teachers, I never really had Old English, Shakespearean English explained to me at all. So it was very nerve-wracking going into that, knowing I had never been taught how to understand it, but I tried my best. I would often have to read the same lines over and over again until I understood it, and sometimes I still couldn't. But as soon as I gained enough understanding to kind of get it, I would move on. I think the first one I read was Othello, and I honestly read that in a couple of hours, which shocked me. I mean, it's not that long, but it shocked me because I was fully expecting to start this and maybe take weeks to get through it, just trying to understand it line by line. I was so proud of myself when I finished my first Shakespeare play all by myself and I understood roughly 60% of it. But I would say when it comes to that, just be willing to read it and not understand it and go from there. I had these books, No Fear Shakespeare. It says on the back, each No Fear Shakespeare contains the complete text of the original play, a line-by-line translation that puts Shakespeare into everyday English, a complete list of characters with descriptions, and plenty of helpful commentary. I've never read one of these all the way through, I've only skimmed it, but they're very informative. They literally have the whole play, and on the left side and on the right side, they have giving it to you in modern English so you can understand what's happening. And I feel like it's a really good foundation for being able to understand Shakespearean language. I think after reading a few of those, you'll probably be able to go into a Shakespeare play on your own without having the help of No Fear Shakespeare. And for these books, I got all of my No Fear Shakespeare secondhand because these are very much the kind of books that a high school student will buy, and then once they graduate, they'll think, oh, I don't need this anymore, and to the thrift shop it goes. So you could probably find one secondhand very easy. As I think most of us know by now, almost all of my books are secondhand. I rarely ever buy books brand new. So all of my No Fear Shakespeares over here were found in various thrift shops, Goodwill, stuff like that. And also, again, you could probably just look up how to understand Shakespeare into YouTube and get so many good results. I cannot overstate how valuable the free online resources are. I know I keep bringing it up, but my goodness, there are so many out there. I know when I wanted to start learning astrophysics, I literally just typed astrophysics into the YouTube search bar and also into Google, and I found so many things. Astrophysics 101, there were people sharing what their courses were like, what they learned in class, crash course videos, people sharing like tests or quizzes they would get quizzed on in school, like PDFs of it so you could go through and see what you know. I did a lot of online quizzes and tests and reading, literally just like things that you would get assigned in school, because a lot of those things are available for free online. The kind of things you would get assigned in a college course is usually available in a PDF online somewhere. So if you just know what specifically it is that you need to read, you can probably find it online. And that's just like for looking into a very specific subject. I love space. I love astrophysics. To this day, I still hope to one day get a PhD in astrophysics. I have not been lucky enough to go to college yet, but maybe one day. And also, if you're not ready to enroll in college right now for whatever reason, but if you could just take a singular class on a subject that interests you, maybe on English literature or math or something, plenty of colleges and various schools offer the opportunity to take those classes, and sometimes they will be really cheap. So if you have the time or the money, you can take like a singular class to maybe prepare yourself for college and what it's going to be like. Because if you were homeschooled like me or you were unschooled, you're not really super familiar with like the classroom structure, and maybe you want like an entryway into it in an area where there's like no pressure. Because if you like fail out of that class, you're not failing out of college, you're failing out of like a single class that you paid a little bit of money for. But I remember reading in my English textbooks as a kid, and there would be like a poem in there, and I would read it and I would not understand a word about it, and it would really frustrate me because then it would, ask questions about it, and I wouldn't know how to answer any of these questions because I didn't understand the poem. It would say, what was the author's intent? What is this poem about? What is it a metaphor for? I don't know. And I couldn't ask my mom because she didn't know either. So I was just kind of stuck and I couldn't move on. And I was stuck at like this handful of questions that I didn't know how to answer, and it was so frustrating. And I couldn't move on. I couldn't advance my skill set because I was stuck here with no way to get past it. And it honestly frustrated me so much that when I would do my English classes, I would just want to cry because I was stuck. I felt that way with most subjects, honestly, because I got to a point where just me alone reading this textbook was not enough to teach me, and I didn't know what to do. Having someone to explain it to you really helps. So if you can go to a class of any kind, do that. I think it'd be so helpful to have someone that you can ask questions to, that back and forth, that being able to ask very specific questions about the very specific thing that is not clicking for you, and having someone who's trained to teach you respond in a way that you can understand. And also with poetry, a good insight to understanding poetry is to again read reviews and analysis like with full-length novels, but there's also a specific book called 100 Poems to Break Your Heart by Edward Hirsch, I think. It has 100 famous poems in there, and after each poem is like several pages of going through and thoroughly explaining the text and everything it means and the author's intent. And it's really eye-opening, and I think that's a really good like foundation for understanding how poetry works. Also, maybe looking up videos or articles. They don't necessarily have to be videos. I know I keep saying videos. I love consuming things in the video format. You don't have to do that, but I'm assuming if you're here, that's kind of what you like to do, so that's why I'm saying that. Videos of people reviewing poetry, how to write poetry. There's so many books and articles and videos out there, people explaining how to write poetry, the structure and what's needed in it. And just being able to understand how to write it will also help you understand what the author was going through when they were writing it, what was in their head, and that can help you understand the text even better. I'm so sorry about my voice, y'all. I sound like I'm sick right now, but I've just been talking for probably 5 hours, at least, just to the camera. So that's awesome. But a really big thing is just to be okay with not understanding things initially, and just do not let that deter you from reading something you don't understand and then saying, okay, I didn't understand that, now time to read something else that I don't understand. I cannot stress how much just reading consistently will help you. And when it comes to math and science, I can't exactly help a lot with that because I'm not a teacher. I don't know how to explain those subjects, but there is again a huge amount of resources online for both of those things. I know when I was in school, I would sometimes go to Khan Academy, which was on YouTube. I don't know if that's still free or on YouTube, but there's just so many resources out there that teach basic math and algebra and all that stuff, and even more higher complexity math and sciences. Because like I said, when I was looking up astrophysics, YouTube, PDFs, just looking up, articles, that was really helpful. When I got my GED, I had to take a 30 or 40 hour GED class because I was 17 and you have to be 18 in order to take the test without having the class. So because I was under the age of 18, I had to take this class before I was allowed to take the test. And it was awkward because I wasn't used to being in a classroom setting or anything like that. And I also happened to be the only student enrolled in that class at that time, so it was just me and the teacher. So that was awkward, but it's also really good because, I got one-on-one time with the teacher. I didn't have to worry about raising my hand in class or being called on in class, because I think I would have just died embarrassment if that had happened in front of other people. But it was really helpful because he was literally trained to help me understand these subjects. And when he taught me basic algebra, there was so much that clicked when he explained it to me. And if there was something that I just didn't get, I could tell him that, and he could reframe it in a way that made sense to me. And he could go through what my specific issues were and address them and help me learn. And I learned so much in just that little amount of time I was doing that class. I would say I spent less than an hour specifically, like going over algebra with him. And that class is the whole reason I passed the math section of my GED test, because I understood more than I had probably learned in my entire high school education in that 1 hour, which is embarrassing. And that was also when I realized it's not that I'm stupid, it's that I haven't always had the tools or opportunities in front of me to learn. And when I have those, I am very much capable of learning. I am very much capable of growing and understanding, and I have so much space to grow and understand, and so do you. It is never too late, and you never know too little to start now, or too much to keep going, so do not give up in your pursuit of knowledge. It is so rewarding, to me at least, to just learn more and just fill your head with all the knowledge that you can. I love studying different subjects. I love researching things. There is so much joy in it. And with the proper tools and resources and the motivation, you absolutely can learn. You can become a freaking genius if you want to. Like, it is not beyond your capabilities, no matter what anyone has told you. I hope this was somewhat helpful and maybe encouraging. I hope that even if this didn't give you all the resources you were hoping for, that maybe it inspires you to continue to pursue, to learn more, because that is one of the main goals of my channel, is to foster an environment of learning, to encourage people to educate themselves on a variety of topics. I love learning, and I want as many people as possible to cultivate their literacy skills and expand their knowledge as much as possible, so we can have in-depth critical conversations about not only fun topics but also important topics. Literacy skills are really important in everyday life. To be able to understand politics, the subtext of these things politicians are saying to us, to be able to understand how the world works in full, you have to be able to have literacy skills. You have to be able to understand the underlying things of what people are telling you, and how the world works. And that starts with being able to read a book and understand that it's an allegory for something else entirely. Or watch a movie, you know, it doesn't necessarily just have to be reading. You can watch a film and then read or listen to reviews about that. And that can also be a fun way to cultivate your literacy skills. Reading difficult books, watching complex movies and stories, and challenging your mind, those are so important. They can honestly be so much fun. And I hope it's as fun for you as it is for me, because I really love learning, and I also love things like trivia. I think a big thing that has helped me learn more is Jeopardy. I love Jeopardy. It's 30 minutes of just pure question and answer, and it really will open your eyes to the specific areas that you lack, because they go over so many specific topics. I realize that there are so many topics I cannot answer. I'm really good at pop culture, but I'm not necessarily a master at geography. Geography has never been my strong suit. And that's embarrassing to say. I'm not bad at geography, I'm just not as good as I would like to be. Trivia shows are a really fun way to learn more. I learned a lot from watching Jeopardy, and when I get a question wrong on Jeopardy, it inspires me to go search up this topic and learn more about it. This is not an ad for Jeopardy, I just love that show, and I miss Alex Trebek so much. A big thing is making learning fun for yourself. Discover what medium works for you. Do you like watching YouTube videos? Do you like watching trivia TV shows? Do you like watching movies about the subject, reading books about the subject? Do you prefer it, audiobooks, visual, reading books on a page? You just have to discover what format works for you and do it in a way that is fun for you, because you are not going to learn as efficiently if you're doing it in a way that just doesn't work well for you. So try different methods, figure out the easiest way to learn for you. Write lots of notes. A fun part is getting a nice fun notebook and dedicating it to the subject you're learning, and writing down the things that you learn and remember. And I'm just rambling on at this point. I think this is really all I have to say. I hope it was helpful. If it wasn't, I'm sorry. But if it was insightful or encouraged you in any way, please like and subscribe, share a copy link, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and if you have any ideas for future videos, please leave that below. If you have any resources for anyone else who is here, please feel free to leave that below. I would love to leave specific resources in my description, but YouTube doesn't currently let me embed links because I am not monetized, so I can't list the resources, unfortunately. Psych! That's not true anymore. I recorded this video a couple weeks ago, and since then, I have been monetized, so I will be linking sources in the description below. And thank you guys so much for the support of this channel that has led to the monetization, because that is just so awesome. But I will be linking the book by Edward Hirsch along with a couple videos that I think would be useful to watch if you want to know more information about improving your literacy skills. Also, both Harvard and Stanford have a plethora of free online courses that I think would be beneficial for anyone. Free resources are always a good thing. And that's also good if you're like me and you're intimidated by the idea of enrolling in a university because you're like, I don't know if I can handle that workload. I don't know if I can handle a class structure. This is a good way to sort of microdose that and see if you stand any chance of being involved in a structured class with no real world repercussions. Like if you don't finish the class, it's free. You're not going to get penalized for it. You can just take the class, see if it works for you. It's also a great way to explore a variety of new subjects and maybe find something new that you love that you want to explore more in depth without losing any money on it. Links to the full list of Harvard and Stanford courses will be in the description, along with my Ko-Fi if you want to donate to this channel to see more videos from me in the future. Some videos coming in the future are more lengthy video essays, some longer, some shorter. I have already recorded a video about autistic representation in media. I have some that I haven't filmed yet that I'm really excited about. I am planning on making a very lengthy video essay about Oppenheimer and the book American Prometheus and just going through his life and the impact of Oppenheimer and the atomic bomb on the world. I haven't even started writing the script for that yet because it does require rereading the book American Prometheus, which is just a very dense book. But these are the tabs from the first time I read it. I tabbed so much. But I have quite a lot to say about this book, so if you want to see a video about that in the future, make sure to stick around because that is coming. And thank you guys so much. If you have watched even a single one of my videos, if you are here watching this right now, it means so much to me. I feel so blessed and so joyful for the reception that people have given to this channel, and I am so excited and a little bit nervous to make more videos for you guys in the future. I was not expecting to have this many people watching. That makes me quite nervous, but I'm believing it will all work out, and I hope that this can be a place of fun but also of education that encourages people to learn more and teaches you new things. My hope is that with every video that I put out, you will learn at least one new thing, or encourage you to go off on your own and learn something new. And hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you have a great rest of your week. That's all, folks. See you next Monday.